42%. That's telling. How about this? The average time of possession, Oklahoma gets it up much quicker than Villanova. However, Oklahoma has only 3 more shots. Now, what we talked about earlier, when they force turnovers, they shoot well. They have forced 8 turnovers, have shot only 42%. See, the 3 losses, they didn't force many, and they didn't shoot well.
Didn't shoot well is exactly right. And the only place that really hurt this Villanova ball club was on the offensive glass, and some sparks here and there by King and Grant on the inside.
So we start the second half. Villanova finished that half with a 13-3 run. It was a half of spurts, and Blaylock commits the foul. Speaking of the guards, Ricky Grace and Mookie Blaylock, the outstanding guard tandem, have averaged over 31 points per game combined. But as far as the guards are concerned, in the first half, Villanova's tandem in the back line have outscored Oklahoma 24-5.
And that's the reason with the turnovers. They're the ones usually creating the turnovers and getting the layups.
Oklahoma has not lost when they have shot 50% or more, and they're well below it right now. Doug West finds an opening and a blocking foul. And that'll be against Harvey Grant, and that will be his first personal foul. He just got there a little too late, although I think he anticipated West's move.
He did. He had so much pressure on him because now Seeger's beat. He's got his man right behind him there, Taylor. Does he come over to help, or does he stay home and make sure he doesn't make that pass to Taylor?
Quickly, the Sooners have 2 team fouls. Oklahoma's margin of victories were 28, 20, and 10 in their 3 tournament victories thus far. Plansky has a height advantage over Grace of 6 inches.
But he doesn't have the quickness advantage, and especially handling the ball, that's the real problem.
Wilson lost his dribble momentarily and got too far under the basket. Didn't handle that well, and here comes Oklahoma 3-on-1. Seeger goes for 3. And Villanova has it. This is the style of the Wildcats that got him a 7-point lead. Rolly Massimino said 75 points. That's what we want to limit Oklahoma to. They're ahead of their...
Right now, they're way ahead of that with 60-31 they've given up.
Wilson again misses. Wilson has had 2 inside layups. He hasn't connected. Grace to King, and they'll call that blocking foul against Doug West. So Doug West picking up his 3rd personal foul, and that's a problem for Rolly Massimino. West is the leading scorer on the year for Villanova.
Well, what Kenny West is going to have to do when he goes to the basket, Wilson, he's got to pull up in the lane and shoot the short jump shot, not take it all the way to the basket and challenge the big people of Oklahoma.
We have not had any scoring yet. Nearly a minute and a half gone by in the second half. King. West saves it, and he goes hard into the press table. Mookie Blaylock hits a 3, and it's a 38-34 game, full court pressure. Blaylock has hit 2 3-point baskets.
Got to watch the 5-second call for Plansky because if he doesn't have the quickness of Blaylock.
Taylor, number 35. Plansky's 31. West, 42. Wilson is 3. Rice, 33. West with the layup. He has 13. Wilson and West lead Villanova. And coming in is Seeger. Dave Seeger with the basket. King leads Oklahoma with 14. He's the only one in double figures right now.
And whatever Billy Tubbs said to his team, they've come out with a spark. They have that zip that they did not have the last 10 minutes of the first half.
Villanova has played this game with 7 players. Massey and Beckendam off the bench. Beckendam only briefly.
Villanova is just spreading the court, going to a 1-4 set, looking for the easy opportunities.
Rice, baseline. Tom Rice, much maligned a year ago, now has 4 points. The 7'2" sophomore keeps Villanova up by 6. And King's follow is good, and it's a 4-point game again. 16 points for Stacey King, who has been red hot, averaging 31 in his last 5 games.
Well, the last 2 times that Villanova has scored, we've seen Oklahoma come back and score right away.
Possession arrow favors Oklahoma, so the Sooners will have a chance to narrow the lead again.
Now here's the hustle of Harvey Grant defensively, a big man out on the court putting the pressure on Taylor and causing that turnover.
Blaylock and Grace, the backcourt for Oklahoma. Grant, Seeger, and King up front. Sooners have won 19 of 20 and 7 straight. King has it blocked by Grice into the hands of Taylor. Good block by Tom Grice.
They doubled down on King when he got the ball in the low post.
Villanova 42, Oklahoma 38. A low-scoring affair, but Oklahoma, they have had a burst twice already in this game. They're capable at any time.
Thing they're doing a better job of is after Villanova's scoring, pushing the ball down the court and getting that tempo that they like.
Grice inside and gets it over Stacey King.
Well, Grice has not missed the shot here in Birmingham. He's now 8 for 8.
3 for 3 this game, 5 for 5 in the semifinal against Kentucky. Blaylock missed, Grice the rebound. 6-point lead for Villanova, and they can open up their biggest of the game. And Kenny Wilson might have had a problem with his contact lens.
And there's the double team, Grice blocking King's shot. Now in the offensive end of the court, look at the big guy put the ball on the floor, pull up and shoot the short jump shot.
Kenny Wilson is going to the bench. Had a problem with his contact lens. And he's over there near the Villanova trainer. Oklahoma is only 4 for 14 from 3-point range. A far cry from what they did against Louisville Thursday. Well, tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern time, we hope you'll join us for this weekend's men's and ladies programs at the World Figure Skating Championships. And some of the performers you'll see include Olympic gold medalist Katarina Witt and bronze medalist and former world champion Debbie Thomas. Also Olympic gold medalist Brian Boitano and former world champion Brian Orser. The World Figure Skating Championships, Eastern on CBS Sports. That's a beautiful event.
Pat O'Brien's over there, isn't he?
That's what I understand. Budapest, Hungary. Villanova with a big edge in backcourt scoring as they continue to work on Kenny Wilson's eye.
Well, that was their game plan to start with. They were most concerned with the inside play of King and Grant, and they were going to look to help out down there and force the perimeter shot. And the Oklahoma guards have not responded.
You know, we talked at the outset about the conditioning, and of course Villanova has to, one of the reasons they have to slow the ball, as you said, and control the tempo is because they don't have a lot of people off the bench. Oklahoma, in their preseason conditioning this year, used aerobics for the first time, and Billy Tubbs said that was the toughest thing they'd ever done.
And Billy Tubbs said the only reason he went to it is he only picks up things from teams that have won national championships, and the Oklahoma Sooner football team did it last year, so he decided, I'm going to do it too.
I don't blame him. 15:40 remaining, second half. 6-point lead, Villanova 44-38. Gary Massey in there. Doug West is on the bench.
We see Oklahoma in a 1-2-2 zone defense, looking to trap a little bit if they can.
Plansky in the lane, perfect. Mark Plansky has 6 points. And Villanova has its biggest lead of the game. In fact, the biggest lead for either side. But that's cut down as Stacey King now with 18. He's been a one-man gang offensively for Oklahoma.
Just carrying them, either getting it the points off the offensive glass or at the post-up spot.
Wilson is in trouble. And Villanova maintains possession. But great hustle by Oklahoma, particularly Dave Seeger. Billy Tubbs doesn't understand the call, but it'll be Villanova's ball when we get back to Birmingham. Doug West has come back in the game for Villanova, so Rowley is using him with 3 personal fouls.
There's no tomorrow. He's got to use his star player out there.
Plansky Ricky working against Blaylock. Villanova by 6. They led by 7 at the half, and West turns it over to Seeger. Question is, how does Oklahoma shoot off of those turnovers? So far, they haven't shot all that well. Grant. Rebound, Grice. And then Oklahoma knows every time Villanova gets that rebound after that one shot, they're going to have to play long-term half-court defense.
And must maintain their concentration. They're a team that's not used to playing for 25 seconds at the defensive end of the court.
A little over 14 minutes remaining, second half. Oklahoma led by 7 early in the first half. Villanova moments ago had their biggest lead of 8. West connects, and it's an 8-point lead again. West, the leading scorer for Villanova at 15. No smiles, not yet on either coach's face, certainly not Billy Tubbs. King trying to post up against Grice. He does, and he scores. Stacey King with 20.
And without him, this game would be over.
You're right. Wilson gets out of the crowd. This is a well-orchestrated game as you look at the guard shooting. Oklahoma's Blaylock and Grace struggling. Not so for the Villanova people.
No, the Oklahoma guards are 3 for 12 from the field.
And a 5-second violation. How come Villanova is guilty of so many fives there, Bill?
Well, because of the defensive pressure being applied by Oklahoma, they have been able to maintain that concentration for at least 20 seconds. Their problem is when it gets to the 25 and 26 seconds. Last time, West had an open jumper.
Let's see if the Sooners can be patient offensively with this chance. Blaylock gets in a pretty play by Mookie Blaylock. He scores. Ricky Grace has yet to score. Protecting it is Massey. Great pressure by Oklahoma, and Blaylock is called for the blocking foul, and that'll be number 3 on Mookie Blaylock.
Now here's the defensive pressure you face when you play against Oklahoma in the backcourt. Harvey, Grant, and Blaylock coming out. Blaylock not getting over in time to draw the charge.
2 players with 3 fouls in this game, Blaylock of Oklahoma and West of Villanova. Just under 13 minutes remaining in the second half.
You know, this Oklahoma team, fatigue has never been a problem for this club. But I wonder, as this game wears on, does fatigue become a problem for them, having to extend so much energy defensively?
And not on the pressure either, defensively on the half court. There's the 45-second clock. Down to 16. Rice. He finally misses a shot, but not by much. And here comes Oklahoma to try to cut it to 2 or better. Blaylock inside, blocked by West, and a foul is called against Villanova. And that'll be number 4 on Doug West. And Villanova is in trouble here.
Well, I have to question that call. The reason I do is the official made the call from half court. There was another official standing right by the play, as you can see in your picture there on the left. The official comes all the way out there from half court making that call.
Doug West on the bench with 4 personal fouls. He is their leading scorer on the season and in the game with 15 points, and Blaylock will shoot a pair. Blaylock is a 69% free throw shooter this year. He connects there. So it's Blaylock, Ricky Grace, who has yet to score today, Seeger, Grant, and King. As Tubbs not going to his bench. Massimino now talking things over with his assistants has a problem. He's got Wilson, Massey, Taylor, Plansky, and Grice. And now it's a 2-point Villanova lead. Wilson gets it across. I'm impressed with the Sooners defense.
To maintain this intensity, and knowing in most cases they're not getting the turnovers, what they're doing is getting the missed shots.
And they're extending it to make it tougher to get the ball inside and to get an outside shot.
Again, I think Billy Tubbs' preparation at halftime for the second half has been outstanding because they were flat. They didn't have that intensity. Matter of fact, they played a zone, packing it in the lane.
Chance to tie it up for Oklahoma, or better. 3 points would be better for them. Ricky Grace, his first basket of the ball game. And ties it up at 48. Oklahoma has scored 8 in a row, and Wilson is in trouble. Taylor now. 11 and a half remaining. Trapped is Taylor. And they got a lot of time. 25 left on the shot clock. Villanova's turned it over 4 times, and it's come back to haunt him so far this half. Wilson. Plansky. But Oklahoma's king winds up with it. Still Sooners ball.
And now Oklahoma has a chance to take their lead. It's been a long time since they've had the lead.
And a 3 for Seeger. Grant keeps it alive. Grace goes for 3 and hits it. Oklahoma will keep firing it up. Ricky Grace, and it's a 3-point lead for Oklahoma.
Well, they just keep playing hard the whole of the game with this intensity.
And they'll call the foul on Seeger. The last time Oklahoma had a lead was with 8:27 remaining in the first half, 28-27. Dave Seeger, meanwhile, has picked up his 3rd personal foul, and Doug West comes back in the game. So West, despite the fact he has 4 fouls, is brought back in by Rolly Massimino.
Big decision by Rolly Massimino, because he knows if this West fouls out, he's losing his top scorer, his biggest offensive threat.
So does that mean he's going for it here?
He just feels at this point he's got to turn things around, because right now Oklahoma is their tempo.
He can't afford, I guess, or is concerned about Oklahoma opening up a 7 or 8 point lead themselves.
There's no tomorrow.
Blaylock steals the pass by West and is fouled by Kenny Wilson. 3rd team foul against Villanova. And Villanova wants a timeout. Oklahoma has scored 11 in a row. Southeast will face the survivor of the great North Carolina-Arizona matchup tomorrow in Seattle when they go to the Final Four in Kansas City. And on tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern, the road to the Final Four continues with the Midwest Regional Final, Kansas against Kansas State. Danny Manning against the upstart Kansas State Wildcats, followed by Arizona and North Carolina. And we'll learn the identities of the Final Four teams. Temple beaten by Duke. Rice misses after Grant got in, and Oklahoma loses it out of bounds to Villanova. But they are scrappy, and you said it best, I think. He had to come up with something, Billy Tubbs, and they have been more aggressive, and they have forced the play.
They have more zip. Their legs are alive. They're active. Their hands are moving.
There's another example, even though Villanova still has it.
When you make a couple of steals, force a few turnovers, it becomes contagious with your ball club. Everybody else picks it up another notch. They become more aggressive.
Doug West playing with 4 personal fouls, the leading scorer for the Wildcats. Seeger will pick up his 4th personal foul. Seeger fouling Kenny Wilson. That is the 5th team foul against Oklahoma. Keep in mind, Seeger, a great outside 3-point shooter and the best man-to-man defender on the Oklahoma team.
And that was not a smart foul by Dave Seeger.
10 minutes remaining in the second half. 51-48 Oklahoma. They've come back from an 8-point deficit here in the second half. On the shot clock. Tough pass for Plansky. He tried to get it to Grice. Oklahoma anticipated. Another turnover, another chance.
Good job by Villanova getting back defensively after the turnover.
Blaylock fakes Plansky. Loose ball, and here comes Villanova. Down by 3. The Wildcats have turned it over 6 times this half to none for Oklahoma.
And they only turned it over 8 times in the first half.
There's that pressure you were talking about. It's like a different Oklahoma team in the second half.
Now the thing, does Rolly Massimino make another adjustment offensively? If they don't score this time down, maybe they go to something a little quicker tempo-wise.
Villanova's gone 5 minutes without scoring. Plansky misses. The rebound by King. Seeger lost it inside, and Wilson, Oklahoma is back defensively. Wilson goes for the three and misses. Taylor, the rebound. Rice follows.
Well, that wasn't the shot that Rolly Massimino wants, but he'll take the result.
He will. He got 2 offensive rebounds, and Rice connected. He has 8 points. I was surprised Wilson went up quickly with the three.
Yeah, Rolly Massimino just wants the shot if it's an open one.
Harvey Grant. He can post up, he can pull up. Harvey Grant averaged over 21 a game. He's got 8 in this one. West leads with 15, and Wilson has 13. Under 8 minutes remaining in the second half. Oklahoma still has that 3-point lead. They had their biggest halftime deficit of the season today. 7 points before they came back.
Watching this Oklahoma team, it's very difficult to believe that Billy Tubbs felt coming into this year was a rebuilding year. Losing David Johnson, Tim McAllister, Kennedy, and Watson.
Rice with a fake and lost it off his foot. Grace and King 2-on-1. King. 22 for King, and Oklahoma has a 5-point lead.
And now we're seeing the Oklahoma ball club that we got a chance to see against Louisville. That intensity defensively, turnovers and layups at the other end.
A big sequence coming up for Villanova if they want to avoid getting blown out. Plansky misses. Rebound misses King. Oklahoma on a 15-2 run. Taylor is down. Blaylock missed inside. Taylor is still at the other end, and a time is called as Rodney Taylor is still hurting. He is in pain.
Now here's how Taylor gets hurt. The shot by Plansky, he loses his feet. He hits the back of his head on the floor and his lower back as well.
He suffered a sprained ankle in practice Tuesday before Villanova played its semifinal game Thursday against Kentucky. And he is hurting, and he had to land on that back part, the lower back. So we stop festivities as Rolly Massimino goes over to check on the sophomore from Columbia, South Carolina. 6:51 remaining in the second half. Oklahoma leads by 55-50. Taylor gingerly goes back to the huddle. The defense of Oklahoma has forced 7 turnovers already. That's almost as many as Villanova turned over in the first half. They protected the ball well themselves.
But this half, we're seeing Villanova has not gotten back defensively as well after they've committed the turnovers.
They lose Taylor momentarily at least. He's been an effective rebounder with 11 today. So it's Massey, Plansky, West, Rice, and Wilson. Oklahoma by 5. 6:40 remaining in the second half. Plansky has it knocked away, and a foul on Ricky Grace. That is the 6th team foul on Oklahoma. The next one will put Villanova into the bonus, and Grace has picked up its 3rd. So Grace and Blaylock, the starting guards, each have 3.
Rolly Massimino's magical number defensively was 75. They'll still do that, but we're seeing this defense by Oklahoma showing that they have the ability. Hey, we can play any kind of game you want to play. We'll do it defensively.
West, tough baseline shot. He was defended well, and Doug West now with 17 points. He's hit his last 5.
At last time down, Rolly Massimino did not go to that 1-4 set. They looked immediately to get into something at the offensive end.
Terrence Mullins in the game at guard. He has the ball now. The only freshman. Plays a lot bigger than 6'2", and an offensive foul. Stacey King, only his first foul, but it's the 7th, and now they're pointing the other way. Did he reverse the call?
No, 2 officials had different views of it. One thought it was a charge. One thought it was a grab foul on Wilson. The grab foul stands up.
Second on Wilson. That would have been the 7th foul and a shooting situation for Villanova, 1-1, but it isn't. And King is on the line. 68% from the line this year. Right now, Oklahoma going with 3 guards with Mullins, Grace, and Blaylock.
That's a good call by the official. Wilson did reach in and grab.
King missed them both. Lansky the rebound. So the Sooners playing with 3 guards right now. But Villanova has the ball trailing by 3 with 6 minutes remaining.
Going into their set offense immediately, not using the 45-second clock.
And another 5-second violation. That's about the 4th or 5th one of those called against Villanova today. Yesterday, Billy Tuck says Rowley needs a comb over there, and I wouldn't disagree with that right now.
No question about that.
They get it inside to Grant. King and Blaylock, Grant and King, but particularly King with great penetration offensively inside.
After that sequence, has fatigue become a factor for the Villanova Wildcats?
Meanwhile, Villanova will be in the bonus as an Oklahoma foul has been called on Ricky Grace, his 4th.
We see the Oklahoma team getting up on the glass. King getting several chances, and there's Blaylock for the easy 2.
The story here in the Southeast Regional Final. Villanova has turned it over 8 times in the second half. They led by 7 at halftime. These are the high scores, but West is playing for Villanova with 4 personal fouls. Dick Stockton and Bill Cunningham, the winner, will move on to Kansas City in the Final 4 next weekend. Villanova trying to repeat their miracle run of '85 when they defeated North Carolina here in Birmingham to get to the Final 4, and ultimately the big stunner over Georgetown for the title. But they're a long way from that right at this point.
We got a lot of basketball left in this game. Anything could happen now with only 5:28 left in the half. In the game.
Wilson, the best free throw shooter for Villanova, makes them, and it's a 57-54 game. Grace is playing with 4 personal fouls for Oklahoma. West 4 for Villanova. He couldn't go after Mullins. Grace goes for 3. West. Sooners have lost only 3 games this year. To LSU, Kansas State, and Missouri. Kansas State still alive in the tournament. West, tough shot West, and a foul inside. Mullins was all over him, but Harvey Grant committed the foul inside, and it'll be 1-1, I believe. 1-1 for Villanova. Grant's foul is second. Gary Massey will shoot the 1-1, and Massey has not been a good free throw shooter this year. And Rodney Taylor, who was shaken up before, is back in the lineup for the Wildcats.
Only shooting 62% from the foul line.
Misses it, and here comes Terrence Mullins. King, and Oklahoma running the floor. Stacey King with 24, and the Wildcats trail the Sooners by 5.
You don't see many teams where all 5 starters have that ability to get out and run. And that's what you have with this Oklahoma team.
In the second round, Villanova trailed Illinois by 10 points with 3 minutes to go and came back and won. They're hoping they don't face that kind of a deficit this time. Their season is on the line. Lansky knocked away by Blaylock. And it's still Villanova ball, but Blaylock with quick hands. And a timeout. 4:08 remain in the second half. Villanova trailing, and Mark Plansky has only 3 of 8 from the field, but he's capable of some late game heroics. See if Villanova goes to him here with 4 minutes to go, trailing Oklahoma by 5. The Sooners, the #1 seed, trying to advance to Kansas City.
See Villanova just spreading the court, trying to use some of that 45-second clock.
West. Foul inside. He'll go to the line to shoot. It'll be a 2-shot foul. Stacey King with his first personal foul, and Doug West is on the line. He has been a 72% free throw shooter this year.
Now does Rolly Massimino come out and trap at half court? Maybe put a little full court pressure on. We haven't seen them do it against the Sooners.
Of course, if you miss, you're in trouble. They can burn you at the other end in a hurry. We saw a couple of glimpses of that already with King filling the lane. Blaylock, Grace, and Mullins, 3 guards, along with Grant and King inside for the Sooners. Half-court offense. King gets inside and a foul. Rice and Taylor defended. It is the 5th team foul against Villanova. And Tom Grice has picked up his 3rd foul, so he had foul trouble early. That's his 3rd.
Well, Tom Grice has a real problem playing against Stacey King because of his quickness.
King, a 68% shooter, has 24 points and 11 rebounds today.
He was the man earlier when they were struggling, keeping him in this ball game. If he wasn't around, this game could be quite different at this point.
He's had a big turnaround season, King, and he said the turning point was in the game against LSU, and Jose Vargas had a career game against him. He says, I let the team down, and I decided to go to work from there, and has he ever. 3:32 remaining. It's a 61-55 game. Villanova trails by 6. Oklahoma trailed by 8 in the second half. There's the story. Quickly. Lansky for 3. And the Sooners have the ball and the lead.
Now at this time of the game, the Sooners will start using a little clock, having a little more patience.
Grant fires it up and is fouled by Rodney Taylor.
Not much of the clock, though.
But Villanova is going to have to force the foul, I would think, and hope that Oklahoma misses the free throws, because they're going to get the ball inside of their big people, and they've been doing some damage. King has 26. Grant has 8, but he's been good on second shots today.
Well, I don't know if they have to just go foul, but I would expect them to look to do some trapping, be a little bit more aggressive out here on the defensive end of the court. But they have to score as well, and they have not had good success in this second half shooting the basketball.
Gary Massey with instructions from Massimino. Oklahoma 50% from the line in this game. But Grant hits 2 big ones. And Seeger will check back in for Oklahoma. Massimino is checking to see who's in there. Mullins played a fine game, just a freshman. Mullins hasn't scored, but he's handled the ball a lot and has been active.
Whole key so far in this ball game is the way this Oklahoma team came out of the locker room defensively.
Lansky misses. And the rebound by Oklahoma with under 3 minutes to go. They're leading by 8. That's their biggest lead of the game. Villanova also had an 8-point lead earlier. King. Blaylock, who's the 3rd top offensive rebounder at 6 feet high, goes high to snare one.
Well, the conditioning of this Sooner team is showing right now. They're quicker to the basketball. They're more aggressive. They wear you down.
That's what they've done in the second half to Villanova after the Wildcats took a 48-40 lead. That big 11-0 run was key. And Wilson fouls Grant. That's the 7th team foul, and that'll be 1-1 coming up, and Grant will go to the line.
Now, coming into the middle of your screen, after the shot goes up, you'll see Blaylock just jump right up there, skying and getting that rebound.
3rd best offensive rebound. Anxious Villanova fans and cheerleaders, not to mention their squad and Grant. hits the first free throw. Down to the nitty-gritty. If Villanova is going to try to keep that mystery or the miracle going.
This has been some turnaround in this second half.
Grant 4 for 5 from the line, and a 10-point lead for Oklahoma. Villanova has not scored a basket in the last 4.5 minutes of this game. West. Grace the rebound. Villanova one shot and out, and Oklahoma may use a little of the clock.
Now they're not having that patience at the offensive end of the court, Villanova. And it's a tough time trying to press this Oklahoma team because they're so quick.
Wilson fouls Grace, who will shoot 1 and 1. It was 48-40 early in the second half, and then Oklahoma went on 11-0 run with 10:26 remaining, and that has been the key of all of the spurts we've had in this game, and Oklahoma has protected the lead. They've doubled Villanova's scoring here in this half.
That's outstanding defense, holding a team like Villanova to 17 points and a half.
Grace hits the free throw. Ironically, Billy, looks like Villanova is going to hold Oklahoma to 75 points or under in this game.
But you tip your hat to this Oklahoma ball club, just showing that whatever kind of game you're going to play, we're going to show the patience, the concentration that they've shown in the second half at the defensive end of the court.
The lead is 12, and time running out for Villanova. They're going to have to work quickly now. Wilson, way off on the threes. Rebound, Grant. And a foul by Mark Plansky, and it's desperation time for the Wildcats. The Sooners are 1 minute and 35 seconds away from their third trip to the Final Four.
And we'll see two Big 8 teams in that Final Four with Kansas and Kansas State matching up against each other.
Big year for that conference. And Raleigh Massimino has conceded. So the Villanova Wildcats, who were picked no higher than 6th in the Big East, and came in as a number 6 seed and upset Kentucky, have run out of gas against a team that a lot of people think maybe the most explosive and dangerous in that Final Four. They will join the Oklahoma Sooners, the Duke Blue Devils of the ACC.
All players on the court right now for Villanova are walk-ons.
Pat Enright, senior from Richfield, Connecticut, who was cut twice by Villanova after being cut by Merrimack in Division II. Greg Downs, a 5'8" sophomore from Forestville, Maryland. Ron Trebani, a guard, a sophomore from Upper Darby, Pennsylvania. Tim Muller, a freshman from Woodcliff Lake, New Jersey, is in the ball game. And a timeout.
No technical foul on Raleigh Massimino.
Chris Mazzotti, a 5'11" freshman from Hermitage, PA. Want to give credit to these kids who are in an NCAA tournament game, and I'm sure their families would like to have their name mentioned.
Absolutely. And, you know, that's why Raleigh Massimino has put them in the ball game, because he appreciates what they've done for the Villanova program.
Ricky Grace misses the first of the technical. How about the guys who have gone out for Villanova? Plansky.
They have done an outstanding job. You know, everyone before the season felt that this Villanova team would finish in the bottom half of the Big East. Well, they're the only team that was playing today in the Big East.
Great career for Mark Plansky, who was part of the '85 championship entry. He was a freshman. But Oklahoma looks awfully strong. King edges his way in. 28 points for Stacey King. This is a legitimate team for the national championship because they beat Villanova at their own pace.
They've shown the ability to overcome adversity, which they saw in the first half.
You wondered what they would come out with? They came out with intensity, and they forced the action. And Oklahoma has held Villanova to no baskets in the last 5.5 minutes of this game. That speaks volumes. And they're going to their bench. Andre Wiley is in. who played earlier, Tyrone Jones, and Anthony Martin. And a foul against Enright. So the first time in 41 years, Oklahoma will go to the Final Four. They lost to Holy Cross, sparked by Ken Pryor and Gerald Tucker. Back in 1947, Holy Cross had a fellow named Cousy on the bench that year.
What was his first name?
Robert.
Robert Cousy.
I don't think he could dance like these guys could, though.
Well, they should be dancing. They've just showed me so much, and I'm sure everybody around the country what kind of team this Oklahoma ball club is.
They'll make it 8 in a row and 20 out of 21. Villanova can hang their heads high. They were the last Big East team, and they got to the Final 8. Under a minute to play. Enright hits. Matt Enright. And it'll be 1-1. Going to the line for Oklahoma will be Jason Skurczynski. So 2 pieces of the puzzle for the 1988 Final Four in the books. Oklahoma of the Big 8 and Duke of the Atlantic Coast Conference. We know they'll have, as Bill mentioned, another Big 8 entry tomorrow as Kansas State meets Kansas. It's a great year for that conference.
And this will be the 4th time this year that Kansas and Kansas.
Skurczynski hits the front end of the 1-1. And tomorrow we'll learn the identities of the other 2 teams, either Kansas or Kansas State, and Arizona and North Carolina. Villanova cut this game to 57-54 with 5.5 to go, and Oklahoma went on a huge spree. 17-3 the rest of the way. Out of bounds. Villanova's ball. Billy Tubbs, of course, his first entry into the Final Four.
You think he's excited about this? You know, he said yesterday that the one thing they did with this ball club is they made a commitment to come out and play the defense that he wanted them to play.
Muller has his shot blocked by Mike Bell. So the Oklahoma players were saying, if you went against some of the guys we have to go against in practice, you'd understand how good we are, because they could play and start on many teams in the country, and I don't doubt that.
Well, Grace said that they usually beat us, as a matter of fact, when we scrimmage at practice.
21 seconds remaining. Wiley. Oklahoma wins going away, but it was a lot closer than the final score will indicate.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that they were down 7 at halftime, 38-31.
And then 8 points early in the second half. Last year, the Sooners lost, or check that, 3 years ago, beaten by Memphis State in overtime in the Midwest Regional Finals. Knocked out by Iowa last year, and as Billy Tubbs said, we're just a rebound or a tip-in away from getting to the regional finals last season.
Billy Tubbs is so excited over on the sideline. He has not been able to stand still, sit down. He's just pacing back up and down the sidelines.
Wiley, 76-59. Wiley, 78-59. So Oklahoma got 78 points. Final shot. That does it. Oklahoma wins the Southeast Regional. And they did it with defense. Outscoring Villanova 47-21 in the second half. The winning coach, Billy Tubbs and Monty Johnson of the Big 8. 78-59. You're doing fine, Oklahoma. They are, and they're on their way to Kansas City. Break for these messages from New York City.
Congratulations. Good job, Dave.
In the